Whether you consider Sam Manson's family toxic or not, there is no doubt that their relationship hits differently now that we're adults. In Danny Phantom, Sam and her parents couldn't have been more different from each other. Sam was a goth, but her parents were super bright and peppy, and the show never outright explained what made Sam so different from her mom and dad. But it could be a sign of something much deeper in their home life. So the only sensible thing to do right now is to analyze one of the best Nickelodeon shows of all time to see how Sam's possibly narcissistic parents created an iconic and rebellious Goth Queen. You know, gaslight, girl boss, gatekeep, the whole 9 yards. Because that's exactly what Sam was. The gatekeeping, girl boss, goth girl. She was an icon who taught a lot of young fans what true rebellion meant. Being rebellious isn't some violent term that means acting out. No, Sam showed everyone who watched Danny Phantom that rebelling means staying true to yourself even if it means you don't conform to what society, your friends, or family think is normal or proper. From the very first time that she stepped on screen, I knew that Sam was gonna leave an impression. She may have looked scary to some people with all of her dark clothes and her awesome violet eyes, but that didn't make her a mean character. In fact, Sam was quite the opposite. Throughout the series, Sam is shown with a soft spot for most people even if she won't admit it, and seeing people in pain was something that no one on Team Phantom enjoyed. Sam was the perfect example of a rebel because she was never trying to hurt anyone or incite violence. She was simply staying true to herself even if it made her look like a social outcast. Honestly, Sam seemed so naturally goth that most fans expected her to come from a family of people who enjoyed that sort of look. But that wasn't the case at all. Jeremy and Pamela Manson made their first official appearance in the show during the 20th episode of the first season, Control Freaks, and I was stunned when I saw that they were basically the antithesis of their own daughter. Now, even as a kid, it seemed to me like there was something off about their home life, and it took a while, but eventually I got there and it was finally clear what that was. Sam's personality was simply a product of her trying to remove herself from the controlling grasp that her parents had over her life. Now, before continuing though, it's important to note that a psychological analysis of animated and fictional characters is often quite speculative and can be interpreted in many different ways, and only the writers and creators of the show know the whole truth. That being said, there is one thing that fans can be certain of when it comes to Pamela and Jeremy Manson, and it's that they weren't shy about wanting their daughter to dress differently. And this could have been exactly what pushed Sam to express herself in such an outwardly dark manner. Now, over the course of the show, Sam's parents only appeared in 8 episodes, 4 of which they had no speaking lines. However, in the few that they did, the impression that they left was that they both wanted their daughter to dress more like them. During the first appearance in the episode Control Freak, Sam was woken up by her parents who were way too cheery for most people to even believe that they were her parents. But they were. And the first thing that they did after waking Sam up was to try and force her into wearing a brand new pink floral dress that they bought. And while the dress would have certainly matched their style more, you'd think that they would have known that it wasn't Sam's style at all. Well, they probably did, but they just didn't care. Jeremy and Pamela wanted Sam to dress to their fashion sense rather than her own, and that could easily be a sign of how controlling they were. This was when Sam's rebellious attitude shined bright as she took the dress and spray painted it black, not only to spite her parents, but also to fit her personal style. And that wasn't the only time that happened either. In the 4th episode of the 2nd season, Rainstorm, Sam was shown literally hiding from her mom because Pamela was relentlessly trying to get Sam to put on a bright and perky dress. And the fact that they would put so much pressure on their daughter to simply have her dress a certain way, it's hard to tell how controlling they were in other aspects of her life as well. In Control Freaks, they even try to prevent Sam and Danny from going to the Circus Gothica, but when they told her she couldn't go, Sam said that they already had the tickets and then told Danny that she planned on going anyways. In fact, now she was even going to skip the first period in order to watch the opening ceremony. Whether Sam wanted to see the show or not, it was clear that she was feeling extra rebellious after her parents tried to control her plans. And personally, I don't even think that Jeremy and Pamela realized that their overbearing and borderline narcissistic ways were exactly what led Sam down the gothic path that they disagreed with so much. Now, even though Sam's parents weren't shown as being outright narcissists in the show, their controlling attitude toward their daughter could be a clear sign. And if that's true, then their narcissistic behavior may have been exactly what caused Sam to rebel and act so differently than they did. Because, you see, psychologists have actually studied the connection between someone being controlling and someone being a narcissist, and the two seem to go hand in hand. According to theories, the need to control another person's tendencies or outward appearances is another way for a narcissist to assert their power or dominance over that person. This is because narcissists tend to have a relentless need to be the one in control in order to maintain that feeling of superiority, and even though it wasn't outright mentioned in Danny Phantom, that could be exactly why Jeremy and Pamela were so pushy with their daughter. They didn't want the best for her like most parents did. They wanted to control her so that they could take responsibility for the type of person Sam became. But with her rebelling and dressing differently than them, it was much harder for her parents to make that claim. On top of that, narcissists often lack empathy, which seems to fit with Sam's parents. They never once tried to understand why Sam would dress in such dark colors or why she seemed to be acting out when in reality she was just being true to herself. At least not on screen. I mean, they didn't even like Sam's friend. And though they didn't seem like mean people, they did seem very judgmental of Danny and didn't seem to like the fact that he was friends with their daughter, despite the fact that he clearly made Sam happy. And after realizing that, it's becoming more and more obvious that Jeremy and Pamela were narcissists, and Sam likely knew that, which made her want to be nothing like them. As for why Sam would choose to be goth, the answer is pretty obvious, aside from how nice of an aesthetic it is. It's because she needed a way to express herself, and there's no form of self-expression that's as apparent and creative as the gothic style. The mixture of dark tones and colors can be used in countless ways to express mood and mindset without anyone having to even ask. And that's probably what Sam was trying to do. She was trying to express how she was feeling on the inside without anyone having to ask her, "What's going on?" or "How are you?" On top of that, a gothic style allows people to dress in unique ways that are true to themselves. No one really asks me how I'm doing either. I'm not gothic, but that's okay. So, dressing like a goth meant that Sam wouldn't have to look like a carbon copy of her parents, which was likely a bonus for her. After all, Sam most likely wouldn't want to copy the very people that she likely viewed as narcissists. Now, there was one person in Sam's family who accepted her for who she was and actually got along really well with her, and that was Sam's grandma, Ida. Much like Sam's parents, Ida was only in a handful of episodes and spoke in even fewer, but despite her limited time on screen, it was quite clear that she had an impact on Sam's life. Whenever she was shown on screen, Ida was typically helping Sam deal with her parents in some way or another, whether it was by distracting them while Sam could get away, or simply by showing Sam that there was someone in the family who understood her and loved her for who she was. Ida Manson was always supportive of her granddaughter. Interestingly enough though, her acceptance of Sam could also be because of the similarities that the two shared. The creators of the show revealed that Ida used to be a lot like Sam when she explained to her granddaughter that when she was younger, she used to have a bit of a wild streak. Ida then showed Sam an old picture of her, and it was uncanny how much Ida looked like Sam did in the show. I mean, there were obvious differences, and because the photo was in black and white, it's hard to exactly tell what colors Ida was rocking, but she seemed to be on top of a motor scooter looking rebellious as ever. And this showed a connection to Sam that Jeremy and Pamela could never have, and made the moments between Ida and Sam that much sweeter. It also means that even if her parents weren't the best role models for Sam, she at least had one person in her family that she could look up to and know that she wasn't being controlled by. But what do you think about this idea though? Was it Sam's parents who pushed her to rebel in such a glorious way, or was she always going to be a girl boss, gatekeep, gaslighting, gothic queen no matter what? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say.